Hey, good evening. It's really great to have you here. My name is Daniel. I was a professional opera singer and beatboxer, and tonight we're going to be listening to Geoff Castellucci's arrangement of House of the Rising Sun by The Animals. So I think this song is timeless. I think it's a really great piece, and even though I don't listen to it that often, when I do, it snaps me back to these memories of being on a road trip or just being on a longer drive and just kind of being in that open space. I have a difficult time explaining it, so I'll just let Geoff do his thing, and I'm really excited to hear how he tackles this kind of timeless piece. So I'm really excited to hear it, and I hope you guys are too. So without further delay, let's just jump into it.
There is a house in New Orleans they call the Rising Sun.
Ugh, chills already, dude.
And it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. And God, I know I'm one.
Ah, his phrasing is great.
My mother was a tailor.
Nice.
Sewed my new blue jeans. Daddy was a gambling man way down in New Orleans.
Yeah. Oh, that unison. Yeah.
One and only thing a gambler ever has is a suitcase and a trunk. The one and only time a gambler satisfied is when he's on a drunk. So now, mothers, tell your children, yeah, not to do what I've done. Spend your life in fear and misery in the house of the rising sun.
Oh, I love this groove.
Well, I've got one foot on the platform.
Nice.
The other's on the train.
Nice.
I'm going back to New Orleans to wear that ball and chain. There is a house in New Orleans they call the Rising Sun. They call the Rising Sun. It's been the ruin of many a poor boy. And God, I know I'm one. And God,
Ah, nice.
I know I'm one. In the house of the rising sun.
Oh, chills. Oh man, that was great. That was so great. So when I hear the original version of that song, it's got this melancholic guitar ultimately contributing to the flow of the piece. The entire piece itself just feels a little bit more darker, a little bit more melancholic. So just to have Geoff's take on it, inject a little bit more of that lively energy, a little bit more of that forward pressing momentum. I really actually dig that. I'd honestly need to listen to both of them and again, just to figure out which one I might prefer, but I really don't even think that that's necessary because just for Geoff's piece, I just enjoyed it. I thought it was really great. There were a lot of little details that I really would just love to talk about further, and I don't feel like I could just do that succinctly in this brief period, so we're just gonna jump into the analysis.
There is a house in...
Love that fall off there. A house. It's just a little chilling, and which is ironic since he has a flame in his hand. It's so cool. And just these warm tones in this rundown area. It's really, really good set design here, too.
in New Orleans.
And his vocal control. In New Orleans. Like,
Is a house in New Orleans.
and just the way he phrased that. In New Orleans. Like, holding on to that L a little bit. And just not flipping or rolling the R, but gently approaching it, not making it so guttural, but keeping it forward, keeping it light, but still making it an American R. It's just these first 7 seconds, just so much great technique and texture. I love it.
Is a house in New Orleans.
And the fact that it's just his solo voice, you could just fully fixate on how incredible this arrangement is just in those first 7 seconds. It's incredible.
They call the rising sun.
Closing off those ends to still keep the whole musical phrase consistent and flowing, but to close off into the consonant, to give that closed off sensation in your body. Everything is stylistic, and I love this.
And it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. And God, I know I'm one.
Yeah, more in his throat there. But because of his just natural timbre, his natural bass tone quality to his voice, it's just so robust even when that sound is more trapped in his throat. And he's intentionally making that sound in his throat so it can give more of that particular homage, or that particular quality to the original. Putting it in your throat really does create this very particular sound quality that I know Geoff is very specifically going for the theme of this video. So really great stuff. Nice breath.
Was a tailor, sold
Fun.
my new blue jay.
G, where he just opens up the E to an E and then closes it back again, just to add a little bit of variety to that word and those series of notes. Really cool.
New blue
Yeah.
jeans, daddy.
Oh, I love how he just flowed into that without taking a breath. Nice, just consistent momentum into the new cadence.
Was a gambling man.
And the lead vocalist, Geoff, is just took a breath after he already transitioned, while the rest of the Geoffs keep the momentum of the piece going with their lines. Really good. Really, really well arranged. They understand exactly when to breathe, exactly what kind of, not just the notes they're singing, but the flow of the notes and the way that they approach them. Really great.
Way down in New Orleans.
Yeah, and it's not New Orleans. It's New Orleans. Where the E isn't E, it's E. Where his lips are pursed a little to create more of a dark quality to a very bright vowel, which is E. So when you have E, when you round your lips a little bit, E, it has more of a darker effect. And especially when Geoff goes into his real deeper bass notes, to have more of a dark quality to bright vowels just gives more of a robust sound, gives more of a darker tone, a darker veneer, just completely encompassing the sound. And it's really, really cool. Nice growth there in the background vocals. Look at Geoff's mouth position here, where it's not, it's, where he adds so much more space inside of his mouth to create more of that hollow openness sound instead of more of a directed, It's so much more rounded and so much more hollow and creates so much more space that you can still direct forward, that you can still create a piercing sound with, but because of its shape on the inside of the mouth, mixed with his already incredibly sultry voice, it really is just incredible. Oh, thang. Not thing, thang, yeah. Just his touch in his lower notes there, so good. I don't think people realize just how difficult it is to go from one part of your voice to a completely different part of your voice and immediately snap back to that original part of your voice. I give yodelers so much credit for mastering their art, and if you have an incredibly wide range as a vocalist, just to be able to transition from one register to a different one and just do that so seamlessly is already challenging. But to start in one, go into another, and return into the original, that's even harder because it's just tremendous vocal agility. Oftentimes in vocal departments, you'll hear people call each other vocal athletes, and I can definitely relate to that kind of title, just in terms of every day you go into your studio, you practice, you do your warm-ups, which in my experience, warm-ups typically take about 30 to 45 minutes. And you could do them sooner and quicker, but if you have time, I would always do them for about 30 to 45 minutes. Not just in terms of your voice, but in terms of your body. Physical stretches are included in your vocal warm-ups as well. So in the idea that you just have so much agility and so much flexibility and control over your voice, it really is incredible. So the fact that Geoff was just able to sink down there and just immediately return back to this more light upper register in his chest voice, it's really, really good and really technical stuff. Even though it was just passed through very quickly, it adds so much more flair to the piece that I can definitely much more respect as a musician.
A gambler satisfied is when he's on a drunk. So now
where it's still pretty guttural, but because the sound is so robust, it doesn't sound it's you can still feel it in the throat, but again, it's just part of the style, and it's so good for this particular piece. I would never encourage students to do that classically, but again, for the style, for the piece, it's great.
mothers tell your children.
Yeah, and it wasn't mother with a more of a schwa instead of the hard bitten down R. So I really like that.
Not to do what I've done. Life and fear and misery in the house of the rising sun.
So good, dude. This arrangement is crazy.
I've got one foot on the platform, yeah.
And now we're just in a completely new register of his voice, which I really love.
The others
Woo! Those harmonies! Oh, and just the way he attacked that going in. Yeah.
Went back to New Orleans to wear that Norman chain.
you just hear so much of his range here. It's so great. The fact that every single Geoff is all singing the same vowels, breathing at the same time, and obviously their timbres match, it's the same person, but to structure the vowels in such a way that really allow the harmonies to fully mesh well together, to coalesce into the greater whole, which is this piece. It's just incredible. All of the little details he's putting into the vowels, into the phrasing, into the musical cadences themselves. Each note just has so much care put into them. Even the slight vowel modulations on specific syllables are treated with so much care. Rai, rai, rai. All of the other Geoffs are just doing that exact same, where it just all comes together so seamlessly. It's so nice, and it's those little details that I just really dig so much.
All the rises, they call the rise. It's been
They could have closed the end there like they did at the beginning of the piece. But no, they just held on to that vowel a little bit more because we're in a different feel, a different tone of the piece. One instead of one. Like, it's just so good, dude. And then that closed end there. It's so good. It's so good. It's just so well arranged, and all of the details and all of the accents that he put into it are just so expertly executed. He did such an amazing job with this piece. Honestly, Geoff, kudos to you, brother. It was just so well executed. I really digged it. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you didn't like it, please leave a dislike and let me know why in the comments. I do read all of the comments, even if I might not heart or reply to all of them, so please just know that your comments do not go unnoticed. And if you guys would like to ask me questions, my live streams are Thursdays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time presently. I will absolutely let you guys know it if that changes in the future, but right now that's what it is. I'm also working on building up my Patreon right now, and it's not just going to have all of my music videos and early access to those videos, but it's also going to have different content as well, as such as my reaction to anime and just my comments on anime that I've already watched. I really love discussing philosophy and ideas and decision making and the way people internalize specific actions that others might commit or actions that they themselves commit and different things like that. So I'm really excited to keep making those videos, and that's still under development, but I will absolutely let you guys know when that is up and running. I deeply appreciate all of you being here again. It really does mean a lot to me, and I can't wait to see all of you in the next video. Have a great rest of your evening, everyone.